communities nominated that government has completed and is currently in use. So those are some of the things that also informed our advocacy bill. So we can quickly move to representation. So I think for last year, we also scored D for our representation. So this year, we are also maintaining D, and it's because if you look at E, we always feel that because on our own part, we have not been able to do an evaluation to see how these engagements are leading to poverty reduction and all of that. So it's very difficult for us to do that. But in our hearts, we know that probably we are achieving that level of success at E. But because we cannot really hold evidence that we can say this is where how we are engaging has led to poverty reduction and all of that. So for the presentation, it's our advocacy that led to the adoption of the Citizens Engagement Guide that the local government is doing, and we're deepening it. So this year was just pilot. By next year, and it's one of the things that we're working on, we want to start producing what is called Citizens Report. So immediately the town hall meetings are done, there will be a global collect that will be used to assess citizen satisfaction in terms of equity, inclusion, and quality of engagement at that level. There will now be a scorecard scoring all the local governments based on these three criteria. Then secondly, our advocacy, which PERL also supported very rigorously, also has seen the process of establishing the civil society, legislature, engagement, and accountability platform. So for governance to really be effective in terms of accountability, citizens cannot achieve that without partnering with the legislators. So over the years, the relationship is trust. But gradually, with this platform, I think we have about 6 legislators that have already keyed into it. Then we have already 3 immediate past that will serve as mentors, past legislators that are serving as mentors already in the platform. And that number we believe will increase to cover probably the entire house. So in terms of our engagement around CDC influence and performance in the project. So even though for this year, we have seen a reduction in terms of performance, because last year, as of half year, we had about 49%. But this year, based on our assessment, half year, it is 37%. But we understand for this year, because we are just coming out from a major election. So we believe that with consistent advocacy, that performance will increase by the full year. Then we've also seen that beyond what we saw last year, that our advocacy led to the release of the lifters grant. This year, we've been able to get evidence that one local government used that lifters grant to innovate a bond school that has been there, and students have been learning in neighboring houses and other trees. But now these students are currently in classrooms as a result of that engagement. Therefore, some local government did not get appointed, but the local government council decided to buy laptops for the CDC champions because of completing or populating CDC documents. Let me increase my speed. I see Mr. Abel is giving insight. So engagement and evidence provided by Kadelka to the House of Assembly has informed oversight of the Committee on Local Government. And thankfully, we got that feedback from the Secretary who is here, Committee on Local Government, that some of the feedback we gave has informed the oversight functions of the committee and has led to recommendations of sanctions. So we will leave it here. The unpacking of it is always not for this conversation. So we leave that. Then the next one is that Kaduna Spot Check on Healthcare Services has also helped to checkmate free charges that also some facilities charge, which have also reduced the cost of healthcare services. In Kaduna, I think out-of-pocket expenditure is about 84.9%, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I confirm. So influence into manifestos of candidates. So one of the things that we did before the election is to ensure that most of the needs that we've gotten from the CDC process and also the issues that has been identified by the mechanisms during our engagement with communities, we now put all of that into a demand charter. And we're able to dialogue with candidates before they produce their manifestos. So immediately when they produce their manifestos, we were able to do like a postmortem. And we had also using our own tools to identify some of the things we submitted that were captured in the manifestos of the various candidates. And I think for this current government, we have a number, maybe we'll still provide that evidence. I'll just pick it up and put it there, where we saw that influence in that. So even after this current government won, the set up the transition committee, there was a follow-up engagement in that direction. And our co-chair also shared that some of those engagements resulted in some sensitive positions that were citizen-centered, like the essay on NGOs and all of that that previously did not exist. Then adoption, this is part of what we have talked about earlier on. The commitment by the Auditor General of State to involve constituency performance audits. So, based on our representation, we have gotten very strong commitment from the Auditor General of the State that they will continue to involve citizens in performance audits. So they just develop their manual, and within next week, we hope to go and submit a list of our constituents in each of the local government because they requested it. So that anytime we are going out for field verification for performance audit, they will give a call to all of these constituents to be part of it, so that they also get a third party feedback next. So inclusion is also D, same as last year, and same as the reason I came for representation. So for inclusion, we're able to see that because of the CDC process, and this is also linked to what we had also highlighted at the level of engagement and representation. These are instances of projects that communities nominated and were completed as a result of the platform that was created for them to do that through the CDC process. So for state projects, we have evidences for Iwa, Sabo Meriden, Ikara, and Igabi. So but for us, we have more than this in terms of what our constituents are giving us. But we don't want to do quickly using what they are giving us without going to verify by ourselves. So that is why we only have the ones that we know we can vouch for at this level. Then, as of last year, we had the portal, but not all champions were able to upload by themselves. So they had to have the IT who also support them in that process. So for this year, we have a situation where we have these champions who are the constituents, representatives of our constituents, do that by themselves because they were trained. So this year they were able to submit about 457 projects, even though it's lower than what we submitted last year, which was about 1,256. And it is because we have also ensured that the data we are giving government is qualitative. For last year, we were just doing uploads. There was no measurement check to ensure that they adopted 3 standards for us. They must prove that there was inclusion, there was participation, and the projects were nominated using consensus. So these were some of the things that were inbuilt into the portal by asking them to provide evidence together with these needs before it can be uploaded. So if they submit it without submitting attendance, pictures, reports, and all of that, it won't upload. But to store, it will be stored at the back end of the document. So that's why we saw a decrease, because some of them did not give us that feedback. And we would rather have a lower number, but be confident that when government asks us, we can vouch for that kind of data. Then for the platform, we talked about the dialogue platform with governorship candidates. We were able to get some of these constituents to directly dialogue with governorship candidates, ask them questions and all of that. I know that some even asked the issue of school fees in classroom. And it was one of the first things that the governor did when he came on board, where he reduced it, I think 30 and 50%. Yes, for the students category. Then for the hall, they were able to directly engage the Honorable Commissioner, where he made two major commitments. One, he agreed to be the ambassador of the Open Government Innovation Hub. Then two, he provided 2 slots for them inside the project monitoring team of the Ministry of Planning and Budget Commission in the 3 senatorial zones. So anytime the commission is going out for project monitoring, they are reserving 2 slots for members of this. So they've been integrated into the M&E system of the state. Then we have increased participation of constituency budget down for relative planning. I'm talking about that earlier on as a result of the guide. Then lastly, the Kaduna Social Protection Accountability Coalition paid an advocacy visit to the deputy governor. And as it was at that point that the deputy governor now realized that they did not engage civil society for third-party monitoring. So they now approved that request that civil society can do that third-party monitoring for the palliative distribution and report back to the government. So for lessons learned, well, there are a lot of capacities that have been happening, but again, capacities cannot be enough because also the space is evolving. The challenges are emerging. So at the end of the day, one of the things that as partners we must consistently do from our lesson is that we must continually strengthen the accountability mechanisms at the local government level, including the WDCs and SPLCs, to create the kind of impact I want to see. Advocate the government involve citizens in citizens groups in planning, implementation, and monitoring government projects. So this is just to say that we need to do more in that direction because the governor himself is in the number 7 pillar of his blueprint on nurturing citizens engagement has already put his point here. So but we want to take it as a lesson for us from what we have done to ensure that we really insist on them putting framework that will enable this happen and all of that. Then narrowing of the civic space with less partners carrying out constituents along. So yes, some of the partners here are doing it, but we also have a lot of partners that don't consult their constituents. They engage government, and that is where it stops. And at the end of the day, we say we are representing the voice of the voiceless. So it means that we need to take this message of CIA to more civil society to understand, like Dr. Bauer said yesterday, as long as we don't engage our constituents, we lack legitimacy, regardless of the result that we are delivering. Then, in terms of that, I think the second point also answers that a key lesson is that we need to expand space using the CIA framework to ensure that on a regular basis, we are able to ensure that even among the civil society, when PERL lives, we can call ourselves and ask ourselves, How are you engaging with your constituents? How are you representing your constituents, and how are you including them by creating spaces for them to engage? So, reflection points. Maybe I would like to stop here, so that. So, thank you very much.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Roger. It was a nice presentation there with so many points. I don't know if from other group, one person and any other person who has questions on this. It's good to really interact with us.
That was a wonderful presentation. We've been able to find a lot from there. But the lesson learned, the way, I don't know, I was reading all the bullets in the lesson learned. The caption didn't look like lesson learned for me, but like a way forward. I don't know, just highlight me more, please. It's a wonderful presentation.
So, by way of enlightening, I want to tell you that it's well looked at. We will count better lessons. Thank you.
So, any other question?
Okay, well done. Well done. Mine is on the general commitment to involve constituency. I think if you would not forget, you engage even the legislature on issues around the audit queries too. So that should reflect you as an achievement guiding what has been done. And on the youth corps, I think the ambassador is not just the honorable commission. You work on advocacy to have a real local government chairman to be part of the ambassadors, and he accepted as he's going to roll out to be the main GDP for the business, taking forward the use of the start from the local.
So, you know, you're a member of Group 3, thank you very much.
Expanding the civic space again. On the civic space, it shouldn't be narrowed only traditional so development partners. Just the way PERL is being, they should also key into open to be a part of a CIA rolling out initiative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Roger, thank you very much, Three, for the presentation. I think this is just an addition. Under inclusion, first of all, I think if you look at PDP champions across some of the local government areas, they were included in the distribution of palliatives, right? So I think we need to also capture that because it's very, very important. Then on representation, one of the other things I've seen here is that I know you captured it. Probably we need to tweak it to ensure that it captured this aspect. Campaign commitment on citizens' engagement came out as a result of the conversation that happened in a Hotel 17 during the dialogue with the governorship candidates. And that is why it's Pillar 7. And then it's also led to, after the conversation and the transition committee, equally citizens and community engagement was also established, and then they have an SA. So again, I think there are more additions for us that we can put up that. Then also, I think, I don't know if this will be in representation or inclusion. No, it will be in representation. Dixie, remember the last assembly closed as what?
It closed at the 7th assembly, but not then.
And then what happened?
It had
now been amended to take some.
What was the action taken? People make suggestions, lead out to some other locations, reach out to National Assembly, reach out to a number of people. An observation was presented to the House of Assembly to say they are missing 3 assemblies. And quickly, that was amended, and the next assembly, which is the current one now, was amended, and the motion was moved by the former, I think, Honorable Campaign Beta. He was on the floor. So he knows what happened. So that you don't miss out key things.
It's an issue that the 9th assembly, we're having that problem. Where are we 6th assembly when others are already 9th assembly? So, but with the support of the partners and also some of the inside old members, old staff of the house, they were able to get in touch with relevant agencies, and then they brought the report to the speaker. And we sat down as a team and looked into it and feel that we must align with what is happening in the whole federation. So on the day of our validatory session, that was when the motion was brought. If you remember that day, it's not only that motion, there are other bills that were passed, about 5 of them on that same day. And unfortunately, my own bill that I was praying that it should be passed, and the freedom of information didn't scale to among those one that day. But I'm grateful that we have worked on it to a particular level that I know whenever they're going to look into it, just for them to project. But she was also a member of the committee that we work hard for committee now. So, Barrister Kantiok moved the motion, who was former minority leader of the House, and the House adopted it, seconded, and then approved that it should be changed from that day. That's why we have the 10th assembly now, as against this is supposed to be 6th assembly. 7th assembly, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's something that is quite important, because when we miss it out, we miss a whole lot of things, because when it comes to harvesting of results, this is very key for us. Please, a round of applause for the committee. I think group 3. Let us appreciate them better now. It's one way to come. You have any question or comment? Or we allow you to do your own all that comes later. Thank you very much, Mr. Bafra. So I think we are doing not too badly, but again, we need to manage time to ensure that group 2 or 3, 2 or 1, 2. So your laptop is not here. Drop your phone so that you don't bring one is not any record somehow. Not what is on this. I own that water. You are just coming, please go and sit down. I hope you captured the comments and observations in your own. Please, kindly ensure you capture them. Yeah. Yeah, take it. Take this one.
The system is not responding.
Suspected sabotage.
Huh?
Yes. Suspected sabotage.
Why is it to work? Go to that cell. Yeah, yeah. You see, I just take it and it's working. Go back there and see whether it's working.
All is on board.
Good morning, all. I have your attention, please.
Change the mind.
Yes. I'm here to present.
Sorry, can we have our seats? Those of us that are not, have our seats so that we can allow you to do this presentation quickly.
I'm presenting on behalf of Group 2, and just like the previous presenter said, we have 3 thematic areas, but we have our presentation in words. So I think under engagement, we scored this year as an E. And justifications are numerous, but we'll try as much as possible to contract them. And it goes like this: there are established mechanisms that are already adopted by the Kaduna State government and accepted by citizens to promote and sustain participatory process of governance through budget engagement, procurement, procurement, monitoring, and evaluation to ensure transparency and accountability process of governance. That has improved service delivery. Secondly, the established mechanisms are driving and taking ownership of the participatory process of governance that is creating mentorship as part of sustainability process that involves community level, which aids grassroots participation in governance. And the CDC is a clear example of this. When the budget cycle comes, you will discover that every ward has a mini town hall meeting, which germinates into that of the LGA town hall meeting, where you have LGA chairmen, ward councillors partaking in this. And why we stated the Kaduna State government has adopted this mechanism is that any LG that does not hold a town hall meeting for its budget presentation, that budget is considered as a non-starter. It will not be accepted by the State Assembly. So it's a force not only in Kaduna State, but I think in Nigeria. And that shows the level of how far we have gone in taking ownership. Kaduna State initially went to Imo State to learn about CDC. In Imo State, it is Community Demand Charter. We adopted it, adapted it, and made it Community Development Charter. And some states, I believe, Zamfara and Kebbi have been here to learn from us. So I think it's a good one. We're doing wonderful. Further, as a result of the advocacy carried out by the Coalition of Association for Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development, CALPED, in October 2023 and August 2022, respectively, on the water supply issue at Kiwale and power supply at Kaduna and Campus. Power was recently restored through the executive order given by the Kaduna State government that payment should be made public so that all will subsidize the campus. So you can see advocacy is a key issue that has been learned at the capacity across board, the capacity to advocate at local level has been advanced and cascaded down on the grassroots. For the involvement of citizens, development of state action plans
and SAP and the thematic areas captured in the SAP that reflect the needs and challenges of the citizens is one area of training. Further, the continuous town hall meetings, focus group discussions, public sensation and awareness campaign for citizens to participate in their government is one key area which I think I mentioned before. Example of established mechanisms in the state is Kaduna, CDC, HADB, TJA, that's the system for private management, then the citizen, so there are so many. These are examples of what came on board. Regardless of what we think of any particular government, we will always say kudos to Ghana State government because during the last tenure and going forward with this tenure, they have accepted the OG local government partnership and a lot of mechanisms are springing up and being adopted. We have more access to government corridors now than in the past. Okay, representation, I think we scored a D. Now, before I give our justification, the general consensus in our group was it should have been a B, but we were really constrained because the recent mobile Constituency has grossly affected the gains that would have reported to us from D to E. This means that the key deliverables there will be collective reduction in poverty and the growth of business. That was achieved, but that recent policies to those who were like being moved from the middle to the upper echelon of business and now dropping by. Everybody is so I think that's how it was a heated debate. So much that you have to call one or two people to interpret one of the was the whole decision. When it's now a consensus, we drop to D because the votes of still really affected. Now, okay, no. Provided the justification is the level of representation has gained high ground such that people working who are working synergy between citizens and government, but was constrained to sustain the process due to the process of development subsidy, which has enormously increased the gains in inclusive growth and poverty reduction. Citizens' needs has been widely addressed due to the effective and quality representation by partners and actors. This has resulted to quality service delivery in communities, like the fixing of the power outage in Riverside community, which was achieved through the influence of the city's champion via series of town hall meetings and advocacy to care. Then we have several examples across the state. In Riverside, what happened here was a CDC. In Sabon-Beri, it was the same CDC. We had some black spots where anytime connected, but not even a man in capacity that because of backgrounds with the criminal relations. I think they need to start. Through advocacy and distribution of that in the CDC process, the request to reporting. In fact, I was wondering how they wanted to coordinate for that area to be sent to them. They wanted to come out first. They do a CDC input plan, which now it was sent to them. And when they were mobilizing, and travel was mobilizing to site, they still called us. And we met there just a few meters because the coordinator was not in 100% interview. And then we were able to say, can you see, are you the one wearing this? You have so people. We met and they installed 6 solar street lights in that axis. And today, not only do people walk around that in late hours, people are established. We have about 3 containers selling handbags and accessories and all that. And then, so please try that. So it's a beautiful one. It's a win-win situation. Now that area is no longer a black spot. It's not people are doing business there, so it's a good situation. And that's true advocacy. The establishment of the Ground Zero platform created by the media has been able to air out the grievances of the community needs. Ground Zero is being, I think, he's here with us. On a weekly basis, it gives a section of the civil society the opportunity to come on board, and then there's a topic for that week. During the program, you have it's live, so people can call in, ask questions, give their own input. So it's a good one that people are getting to know a lot of things they did not know. And those who knew but had no time probably go and engage their civil community, their society, and now talk directly to get on that purpose. It's a good one. Finally, on inclusion, we scored inclusion as a D. Go ahead, and our justifications are citizens are now leveraging on community development charter to prioritize their needs and inform the local government policy, regardless of their gender, race, status, or ability. And the PWDs are particularly noticeable in this wise. And I think that we have across capacity villages now that are trying or have built and are still trying to build ramps in schools so that as schools and PHC facilities, especially the 2-5 kind. And I know it's about 3% so that when you come to church, you have smooth access to the health facilities and some schools.